day. I don't know what day it is of the Corona madness, but here we are. I have been sitting on this video for like a week because that's when I finished this book, and I'm still really upset about it. And I'm not upset because I thought it was like a groundbreaking book, but I'm upset that I invested my money and my time in reading this book. First of all, I'm sorry for the lighting. It's really late at night. And I was like, you know what? Let me just film this stupid video. Okay, so if you've lived under a rock, then you haven't heard of this book. But if you lived above the rock, then you've heard of this book. It's been out for a while. It's The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides, I think is his name. It was a New York Times bestseller. It was a part of the Book of the Month Club, but I happened to get it. I got it at Target, and I'm glad I didn't pay full price for it. It's a $26 book. They had it on sale, and then it was damaged, so I only paid $13 for it. And honestly, I don't want to say I shouldn't have paid $13 for it, but I'm pissed. And first of all, let me talk about the positives. I think overall, it's a well-written book. I like reading a book that, you know, I always annotate my books. I like reading a book that there's always spots where I stop and I think and I read. You know, if there's lines that grab me, I'm like, okay, I like that. What does he mean by that? What does the author mean by that? What deeper meaning can I get in that? I like books like that. Oh, it's hot under this light. What shirt do I have on? So yeah, I appreciated the writing. I thought the writing was good. Now, the writing, the words that are structured together as well. The story that unfolds, not so much. I don't even know where to begin with this book. So there's a woman, she's not a girl, she's a woman, and she, yeah, I'm about to do this. It's really, she murders her husband in cold blood. Now, no one is disputing that she murdered her husband. This is John's shirt, by the way. No one is arguing that she murdered her husband. The cops show up, you know, the man is dead, she's holding a gun, she's cut herself. No one is arguing that fact. She did it. The issue is she hasn't spoken ever since they took her into custody. She didn't say one word. Now, what is it, like a few years later, there's a gentleman who's a psychiatrist. No, a psychologist. There's a difference. He's a psychologist, and he wants to basically study her and see if he can get her to talk. That's the whole basis of the story. He needs to get into where she's staying. She's in a mental facility. He needs to get into where she's at so he can get one-on-one treatment with her so he can get her to talk. That's the story. And it unfolds throughout there. Now, it's all from his point of view, the doctor's point of view, until you get to the journal entries. And those are written from the lady's point of view. I actually don't know their names because that's another reason I know I don't like a book. If I don't remember the characters' names after I'm done, then there was a disconnect, excuse me. So anyways, so the story progresses on. You know, you think, okay, at some point you're like, maybe she didn't murder him. Maybe she was set up. Then you try to figure out, okay, well, who set her up? And of course, I'm like, I'm trying to figure it out. This is why I don't read these books like this, because I always try to figure it out. And I get to the end and I realize I'm wrong. And I'm pissed off because I'm wrong. So, like I said, the story is written in there are two different narrators. Not only that, I don't necessarily like how he divides it in parts. So like you have part 1 and chapters within that part. Then you have part 2 and chapters within that part. But going back, like none of the parts, like it just doesn't make any sense. I don't know why he didn't just go chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, and then that was it. I'm not sure why he did that. It actually threw me off. So there's that. But anyways, as the story progresses, I thought his brother did it, because there's a part in the book where the main character, the female main character, the silent lady, we'll just call her the silent lady is talking in her journal, in the journal entry, that her brother-in-law wants to be with her. Like he longs for her. So then I'm thinking, well, maybe the brother-in-law figures, well, if you can't have the wife, I'll kill the wife, but he accidentally kills the husband. Like, I don't know. That's what I was thinking. Well, that's not what happened. That actually probably would have been a better story. Okay, this is the point where I'm going to spoil the book for you. Turns out the freaking doctor did it. Now, here's the messed up thing. You don't get that information until like almost the last 2 chapters of the book. And I don't know if you guys ever read the book Sharp Objects, that the lady who wrote like The Lonely Bones or whatever, she wrote Sharp Objects. And I read that book and absolutely hated it because I thought I had figured out who did it, and I was wrong. And then we get to the end and I was like, okay, now I really know who did it, and I was still wrong. It was like, oh, and it all happened in the last chapter. I feel like authors do that because you're invested and you get halfway through and you're like, this book sucks, but now I need to finish it. And then you finish it and you're like, it really sucked. Okay, calm down. I won't do that again. I'm sorry. Anyways, the doctor did it. But here's why I got mad about the story. How is that possible? So Silent Lady says in the book, in her journal entries, that someone is following her. There's a guy that's following her. Nobody believes her because she has past issues with, mental issues and stuff like that. So nobody takes her word at face value. She's like, no, somebody is following me. Well, it comes out the person that's following her is her doctor that's trying to get her to talk. But the time frames don't make any sense to me. So the doctor who's trying to get her to talk's wife is actually having an affair with the silent patient's husband. The doctor found out, and instead of confronting his wife, he doesn't want to lose his wife. He wants that relationship because he feels in his mind that's the only stable relationship he has. So he needs to take these people out, and then he can be back to a stable relationship with his wife. What? That doesn't make any sense. Like that. Not only does that not make sense, but the way it's written is like you're like, wait, is this story in present tense and past tense? Like what is it? Is so confusing, and it all happens at the end. So you're literally stuck at this point. You're like, I gotta finish it. I can't not finish it. I've gotten all the way through. It's so. And then in the end, his wife, he's talking like he's speeding up the story and saying that, he did all this to maintain a good relationship with his wife, but now his wife is miserable. She don't want anything to do with him. They don't have sex anymore. And he's trying to wonder, was it all worth it? Are you serious? If you would have just left your wife and said, hey, you're having an affair. I found you. I caught you red-handed, because he did. She left the computer open and he saw the emails, and then he followed his wife one day and saw her having sex with the man in the park. And I was like, what? You serious? You're not right. You're not right. So it's like, if you would have just left your wife, none of this would have happened. So to me, I feel like the silent patient, even though she killed her husband because she got driven to that point, I felt like the doctor was the one who was wrong all along. But he did get caught. In the end, he did get caught. So he tried to kill her, the silent patient, because she was starting to figure out, okay, this guy is the guy who's in my house, and he's the one that's been stalking me and following me, and now he's here to help me, but I'm not gonna let him get to me. I'm gonna get one up on him. Well, she goes into a coma, and he tries to kill her in the coma. I don't even remember why she went to the coma. Did she get into a fight with somebody else in the psycho ward, or the psych ward? Is that, yeah, I'm trying to be politically correct about it. But yeah, so this detective comes to his house. Now, mind you, this is in the future tense. I don't even know. The detective comes to his house and say, the silent patient you wrote everything down, and she mentioned what you did. So basically, I'm here to arrest you. And it ends, I kid you not, he opens the window and it's snowing outside, and he puts his hand out to grab some snow. And he says, oh, snow is so pure. And that's it. If I wanted to throw this book across the house, I went and I complained to my family, and they were like, we don't want to hear it because we don't really care, Mom. You need to hush. So now I'm complaining to all of you guys. Why? And what gets me is people love this book. What do you love about this book? To me, it doesn't make any sense. And this is why I don't read, I call them bandwagon books. I don't read books that everybody's talking about. I'm not a member of the Book of the Month Club because I feel the majority of those books really aren't that great. I'm actually trying to get through this book right now because everybody talks about it. So I said, let me see. And just this is how as far as I've gotten into it. There's nothing about this book that I like, but I bought it and I feel like I need to finish it so I can complain to you guys about it. And also I know there's a TV show out. Just because this is on a book, can you see it? Is it like, it's not. This is the Reese, my lighting is too light. This is the Reese Witherspoon book of the month seal. I hate these things because normally they're not that great. They're not. Now I'm not saying every book of the month club book is horrible, just the majority of them. And I consider myself well read. I have an English degree. I've read literature, classic and not so classic. I know a good book when I see one, and I know a bad book when I see one. And I feel like this was not a great book, and I don't know why. It's like, oh, this is the best book out there. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. So I've ranted on long enough. I think I'm over ranting. I would definitely never recommend this book to a friend. It will go down in the shelf downstairs in the library. It will sit there for a while, and then I would debate if I want to donate it to the Goodwill or if I just want to burn it. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night. Bye.